Hey y'all, it's Ashley Camille at 5th House Bloom. This message is for the fixed signs. Fixed signs for the week of June 3rd through June 10th. This is general guidance, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. At this time, I'd like to welcome forth the power and the presence of the elevated guides who can assist me in delivering this message for the fixed signs. I ask that you open up our ears so that we hear the truth of liberation. I ask that you open up our minds so that we may bloom. I ask that you open up our hearts so that we may embrace our divinity. I ask for assistance in delivering this message with clarity, empathy, and ease. Give thanks. All right, y'all, how you doing? Go ahead and ask your question or what you are seeking guidance on. And then we'll see how that works for you as far as figuring out where this message is showing up, or for you to get more specific guidance. And you could always book a reading with me or get a recorded message by clicking the link in my bio. But let's see who the card that came out: New Life, Divine Mother. But I need to get two more cards. Pleasure, Divine Goddess. Go back to the pleasure principles. There'll be some information there for what is coming forth or trying to come forth. And then we have shame, Divine Healers. Survival at the bottom of the deck and wanting to come through. Yes, especially for you fixed signs. There has been a lot of guidance as it pertains to the blocks, particularly the blocks that are keeping you from acknowledging your desires or pursuing them. And so, okay, I'll read shame. Shame around what you believe you get to have, shame around past experiences that might be keeping you stuck in a cycle of fear, so that, you feel it's easier to either just like accept what is coming to you, or to just let, allowing the chips to fall where they may, instead of being an active participant in pursuing the things that you want and the things that you desire. Let me show you these cards, these other cards. Lost underneath here. So this does seem to be connected to something that occurred in the past. This does seem to be connected to something that didn't work out the way that you wanted to, or unrealized dream. And here in particular, there is something coming through about the timing and the season, right? We experience things in that way. And so while in the past, either something just didn't work out for whatever reason, or you were actively pursuing it and trying to push forward and it just didn't take root, that does not mean it is not for you. That does not mean you don't get to have it. That does not mean you don't deserve it, right? It could have possibly been that it wasn't the right season, right? And that can happen for a variety of reasons. It's possible that had it occurred at that time, you might not have had the structures in place to maintain that. You might not have had the mindset to sustain it and to really reap the pleasure, to really reap the benefits of it. That does not mean that you aren't ready now or that you won't be. And so it feels like the season is approaching for you to now return to these desires, to return to these old projects, to return to this old goal that did not work out in the past, and to give it new life. But there is a block and a fear, because you remember what that shit felt like. It did not feel good, right? It could have been embarrassment. It could have been heartbreak. It could have been shame. It could have been judgment of yourself and judgment for others. And so the work here is to is to acknowledge that shame, is to acknowledge those challenging feelings. We're going to put it in a little pot and group them together, right? But we're not going to cook and serve that shit. We're going to dump it. The challenge is to acknowledge that, to sit with that, to reap the lessons from that, and to let that inform you of what you want, and not to be a block and not to stop you from seeking it. Okay. Was there something else? The pleasure? What is it? Okay. So, part of you or some of you, it feels like almost a training yourself to, this is coming through a couple different ways. One, to avoid the things that feel good, for fear that like it will slip through your hands. That's the energy of like, I don't want to get hurt. What was the other? I should have said it when it came. Can you give it back to me, please? For some, there is an energy of an overindulgence and distraction for things that might be giving you the surface of what it is that you are truly seeking, right? That could be like the use, like the only thing that's coming to mind right now is like alcohol, and that feeling, that buzz, that freeness. You can tell I like me a little drink. And that being a substitute or distraction from the freedom, that joy, that lightness that you are seeking in other ways, or numbing, right? So there could be either an overindulgence in surface level things that are not truly tapping into what you desire, or a numbing that is distracting from, you know, those desires. There was one more. It'll come through. Okay, so I can read shame. Divine healers. Judgment, self-loathing, poverty. You're at risk in falling under the spell of self-criticism because of poor choices or learned behavior. And this is bringing on the energy of shame. You can always tell when this soul-deadening vibration is present because it causes you to unconsciously pull back from others and the loving support of the universe and become isolated. It's quite possible at this time to believe that the world is against you, making you want to hide, withdraw, and push it away. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm going to pause because that's what was coming through with this pleasure, particularly as it concerns the relationship aspect. And then something is also coming through as far as the divine mother and for nurturing. And so when we are in cycles of shame and when we are experiencing self-judgment, self-criticism, self-loathing, self-blame, that's what it was. We put ourselves in the position of punishing ourselves for that. Like for some of us, this was learned from our childhood. This was learned from our relationship with authority in general, right? But this is not the way that we are to engage with ourselves, right? And so part of this will be shifting, and that will help you move through these challenging feelings and this shame, is to learn how to nurture yourself through that, to nurture yourself when you feel like shit, to nurture yourself when you have made a mistake, to nurture yourself when you need accountability, and not to punish yourself by cutting off relationships, by cutting off love, by cutting off kindness, by cutting off joy, by cutting off pleasure, right? You deserve all of these things, even if you are feeling shitty, even if you made a mistake. And so while you might be, yes, with the survival, oh, baby, we're reading today, for the survival, this was learned, right? This was a learned behavior of, you can't make me feel any worse if I do it before you. or I won't be disappointed if I do it before you, or if I judge myself more critically of you. And you are to learn to embrace the softness even when you are going through these cycles and periods of shame and these challenging feelings. Okay. You are your own worst enemy at this time, as the universe never stops loving or supporting you, nor have the people around you stopped loving you, even if you made terrible mistakes. After all, we're all guilty of this at times. Your divine healers surround you, holding you in affection and unconditional love as you struggle to regain your self-esteem. They ask you to remember that being here on earth is like being in a classroom. You're here to progress. You will make many mistakes along the way. That's part of your learning process and necessary for your growth. I'm going to interrupt real quick, because with what was lost or with what you might desire now, there might be some elements of looking at how did I contribute to this, or you seeing it as your fault, or you did make a mistake, or, it was a result, in relationship, and I say relationship, you and any other thing, right? It is a combination. There, I wouldn't say is a complete blame. However, what ways contributed to that, you might be taking all of that on yourself, which is making you feel that you don't deserve this new life or this new element or this particular aspect, right? And so there might be a challenge, but also a call with the accountability, and that is simply acknowledging the way that you showed up in that situation, right? And that will give you information about moving forward so that this can come through. And without that accountability, we have a tendency to project, to make it what everybody else does, to externalize it, right? And that keeps you from being present. That keeps you from being receptive. That keeps you from enjoying it and actually having it, because all of the attention, all of the energy, all of the work is to put it outside of yourself. So some accountability is going to be required for this, but that does not need to occur. That should not occur with any kind of judgment and self-criticism. That is honesty, and you can hold honesty with yourself. You can be accountable with yourself and still hold yourself in love, right? And so the divine mother and mothering, some of us don't have to come up with the mother archetype, right? Because what unconditional love should be, right? And so you think about the ways that if someone were to speak to you, to mother you, to love you with unconditional kindness, what are the words that somebody who was trying to nurture the fullest version of you would say? What are the actions that somebody that was trying to nurture the most authentic version of you would do? You do that for yourself, right? Again, with taking into accountability that we make mistakes. Okay? All right. Your divine healers ask you to open your heart and forgive your mistakes. There's no mistake too great, no any error too great that it can't be forgiven. Pray for them to help you rise above your self-criticism and re-enter the flow of the universe. Make an effort to see yourself with the same love that they see you with. Make an effort to see yourself with the same love that they see you with. Stop judging yourself. Make amends and apologize where necessary and move on. Their message to you: live and learn. You might need New Light to close. I got through that. There's a prayer that I will channel after this, and I'll post to support through this work. Okay. What do we got? What to expect? Okay, let's look at what to expect. What to expect in this week ahead. Okay, it doesn't matter. We got the 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. Give me a second. I'm going to take my time. This is coming through as the things to support us in this work versus more of like what things might happen or what to expect. And so there is an energy of active healing work. And when I say active, I just mean doing something. Particularly, it feels like things that will help emotions move through the body. And so that might be working with water, right? If you have a spiritual practice in place, of course, this is things like our cleansing baths, water, making sure that you're drinking a lot of water, but also like in your altar spaces, refilling that more frequently. If you don't, it's the same energy. Like if you don't have a particular spiritual practice, you think about the things that water will do, what will clear, what will wash away, right? And you intentionally are engaging with that. So in your showers, in your bath, asking that this energy be able to flow through and that you can be receptive to the messages that it has. And in order to do that, we have to fortify the body. All right. This is movement. Slower movements are being encouraged. Walking, meditative walks, yoga, stretching, again, to kinds of connect the emotion and body right here. Some things in nature, grounding, laying out in the grass, sitting under a tree. And doing things to temper your mental stimulation. I would say that, let me check. Yes, reducing the like screen time and things that feel like you might be experiencing like some mental overstimulation. Yes, especially because the mind is trying to work through these emotions and work through these feelings. And I feel a whole lot of mind games going on for trying to, your mind is working to make you feel good. It's trying to make you feel better through this shame and these challenging emotions. And it's trying to justify, it's trying to excuse, it's trying to externalize and to put it in other places so that you don't have to hold that, especially in regards to the accountability, especially in regards to the shame, especially in regards to any type of heartbreak and the admitting that like, damn, I really do want that. And I really did want that, right? Again, I want to take it back to the timing of it. The timing of it. And now you are coming into, or you will come into a period of refinement, particularly as it pertains to the structure of your life. And so I mean more of like the material things. And I'm just kind of surprised that this is coming through. Like, and your ability to sustain that or to grow it or to build it. I'm saying material, that is things like job, that is things like money, that is things like your network, that is things like the place that you live, that is the body, right? All of the things that you need or support you in being alive, okay? And so there is also a part of the timing that didn't work out, where that these things were not in place. There's something a lot more established, but it will continue to grow. So also don't get distracted or thinking like, oh, but I need this one more thing in order for it to happen. That will grow with you as this process goes on. I don't know if I turned on the camera. Hold on. Baby, I'm gonna be mad. Okay, I did. So this this is right. The thought that's coming to mind is like education or a degree or something like that. Or, oh, I need my master's in order to have this job, or I need this certification and have this job. Yeah, that might be a requirement, but you don't have to hold off. It feels like a holding off on these other things until something else is in place. And this is all supportive, and it's supposed to kind of be happening at the same time. So like you truck forward with that, and you can make those new commitments because it's helping to refine it all. Okay, so again, things, emphasis, you get a lot of support from like body work and focusing on the body and the care of it right now. Paying attention to what you are eating, paying attention to your sleep habits. So this will support you in the emotional work, and it will help to temper all of that mental energy. This is not a thinking, a think through. This is not like a logic yourself out of it, because again, the mind is trying to keep you from feeling bad. This is a feel energy. Okay. This is a feeling energy. All right. Additional guidance. Lean in on connections that are safe, that feel good, that you can show up in this shame without judgment. Increase your time in those spaces and with those people, even if you aren't discussing this particularly, to be around them is supportive. I also hear something about putting yourself in the places of where your dreams are. So that could be okay, it's to like increase your hopefulness, to remind you of the dream, to put you back in that energy. So to put yourself, or to expose yourself of the things that are reflective of your dreams. It's kind of like inspiration energy, but it feels like just kind of like a tempering, a softening, to get, like to loosen up some of this wall and this like and this hardness that you might have around your desire. This could even be like a watching, like if it were a relationship, this could be watching like a love movie, what you call them things, a romance or a rom-com. I'm not a romance person. This could be, you know, if you are on what is you're on social media because you watching this, you know, paying more attention, like filtering out your profile a little bit and refining it, so that it is, you know, you're seeing more of like the inspirational stuff. And I don't know if you would need to like, you know, block certain people or quiet them or mute them or whatever. You might be making a Pinterest board or looking at old Pinterest board. It doesn't feel like active visioning and dreaming right now, so I want to amend that. But if like you have some old Pinterest boards that were connected to this, or any kind of visioning, reviewing like your journals or whatever, right? Okay. Give me a second. I'm gonna take my time. Temperance, bottom of the deck. 5 of Wands, reverse 4 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Give me a second. Is there something with this temperance? Something. Okay. Something is coming up with this. Where did you learn to be critical of yourself? Where did you learn to judge yourself? Where did you learn to embody or to take on your shame with all this? Okay. And so for some, it feels like that might be activated. There might be an instance of that, you know, like if this is a person, an increase in those behaviors that make you kind of like internalize that, or an event that either triggers those feelings or activates those feelings from the past. And so again, feel your feels, but this grounding in your body feels so supportive in that, right? Because if this happens, it might take you back to that place. And so the body will help you remember that you are here and present now. And so that might simply be, I mean, we take it for granted and people say it like breathing, bringing your attention to your breath, actively being the one to breathe in, breathe out. We do it so unconsciously that you don't even realize that sometimes you're not breathing well. Right. And so that will take you in, and that will kind of like help to redirect that process. It is as simple as that, as a way to bring you into the presence of your body. I am not suggesting that this work is simple. OK, and so what is that? What is that? Give me a second. Defensiveness. Yeah. OK, so watch out for defensiveness and the way that like you could potentially be, again, trying to beat people to the punch, the lashing out. So this presence will kind of help with that. This awareness, kind of knowing up front, will kind of help with that. Anything else? All right, we're going to close with new life. There's something from survival coming through as well, but I ain't going to hold y'all here all day. Maybe that'll be different. Let me glance. Okay, this is the one. We'll just go here. Your healer guides. This is survival. Your healer guides surround you and lovingly embrace your momentarily injured spirit. They want you to recognize that all attacks, betrayals, or injuries you suffered, whether they were through the unconscious behavior of others or through your own misunderstanding of poor choices, have left you physically wounded or psychically wounded and fragile. There's no wonder your guard is up. It's difficult to trust even yourself at this time, but you must. And the only way to do so is to stop blaming yourself or others for what has occurred and forgive all the way around. Learn from your experiences and strengthen your boundaries and judgment. All human beings make grave and sometimes terrible mistakes. It's not your fault that you feel violated. It's a lesson to learn from. Nor is it weak to acknowledge that you've been hurt. To now may serve you in the midst of a crisis, but it only handicaps you if you stay mirrored in it. Admit to your injuries and disappointments and allow the nurturing forces of your healer guides to step in now. They're able to soothe your soul and reweave your aura with their loving light and nurturing forces. Trust their influence by dropping your defenses and acknowledging your wounds. They urge you to seek support from capable, caring professionals who can help you learn from these disturbing experiences and show you how to prevent them from occurring again. Their message: the danger has passed. You are safe. It is time now to heal and learn from your experience. Okay, and so I will channel the prayer to support you in this work, and it will include, I'm hearing information from New Life, the Divine Mother. But in the meantime, I return this energy to you.